And we have, in Cyberland, we have like hundreds and hundreds of people here too.
Hi, Cyberland. You're about to get lucky, because I'm here today to talk about luck and how to create your own. So we can take a moment, and all of you can tweet out how you're at the conference and you're about to get lucky. Okay. Thanks, Jody. Okay, I'm Ellen Whitehurst. I am the author of a book called Make This Your Lucky Day. I also used to write for Redbook magazine. I wrote a column for Redbook called Astrology for 5 years, which is a trademark brand of mine where I blend astrology and feng shui. I probably am, or I'll say I am, the country's foremost feng shui practitioner. And that's how and why and when, 20 years ago, I got started thinking about luck and learning about luck. I actually went through a midlife crisis. My marriage blew apart. I didn't have very much faith in going back to work in the Wall Street arena. I was a commodities trader for 25 years before that. And I also was going through the death of both of my parents at the same time. They concurrently got terminal illnesses, and both were passing on. And I decided that I wanted to move my career into something that felt more palpably conscious to me. I wanted to do something that made a difference. So I started to study natural medicine, holistic therapies, and I became a practitioner. And inside that study, I started to learn from a master about the art and science of feng shui. So for 20 years, I practiced, I wrote, and I studied the art of using your external environment to change your internal one, because that's what I believe that feng shui is. I believe that feng shui, it's not Oriental, it's not Japanese, it's not something that's hard, a concept that's hard to wrap your head around. Feng shui is simply the art of taking a look at what's around you and how that impacts or influences what's going on inside of you. I mean, that's pretty practical. Think about it. If you walk into your home and you're consistently faced with loads of laundry or homework papers piling up or bills on your dining room table, the first thing that you're going to think is, I have to get this done. I have responsibilities. It's not thinking, oh, look at that beautiful vase of flowers, or look at that picture or image that I put in place that I love. That raises the energy. So feng shui, simply using your external environment to change what's going on inside of you. So on top of that then, when I was writing feng shui-related articles for major women's titles, I was always asked if I could somehow slip the word happy in there. Happy sells magazines. Happy sells books. People want to be happy. So 4 years ago, I'm writing feature articles about how to have a better 2010 or how to have a better 2009. And I keep being asked by my editors, can we put the word happy anywhere in that title? Then around the end of 2009 and the beginning of 2010, I started to see the collective zeitgeist shift. And I started to see that that theory or that concept of happiness, let's everybody be happy, let's put on a show, was being replaced by let's be lucky. Now, the people who in the past were lured into buying a magazine or lured into buying a book by just having that word happy in the title, now they wanted to be lucky. And it made sense to me because you started to see sort of a collective consciousness shift in terms of being empowered as well. And it makes sense. You can connect the dots. You can connect it to directly related to the shift in the economy at the same time. So we have this tremendous shift in the economy in 2008, and we have a whole bunch of people who were previously unconscious of whether they were empowered or not, now feeling disempowered. And one of the ways that I started seeing this show up were in emails or tweets or messages posted on my Facebook page for people who wanted to feel back in power again. And they were translating that feeling of being back in power again to being lucky. So, lucky for me, I was able to take what I had learned over the last 20 years and start to disseminate that information on a way more broad basis. But I also then became very involved with wanting to study other studies about luck. So I wanted to see if there was scientific research that supported how you can be a luckier person, how you can have a luckier life. And there actually was and is a professor in England who did a study that he has now translated into a book called The Luck Factor. Richard Wiseman is his name. And he did research for 5 years on the differences between lucky and unlucky people. And when I started studying Wiseman's information, what I found out was that a lot of this content was the same content that I had already learned from Feng Shui. And I started to immediately then connect the dots that this concept of luck, this theory of luck, is actually something that can be very much more tangible, very much more concrete, simply by following some of these more recent studies, blending them with the ancient wisdom, and creating a paradigm of action steps to take to create a luckier life. So today I thought we might just talk about what 3 of those action steps can be. Because if you go back to the ancient wisdom of Feng Shui, they have the 5 pillars of luck. And in those 5 pillars of luck comes this concept of being in the right place at the right time. Well, sure, that's pretty lucky. I mean, for any of us who have actually embraced that sort of an opportunity, you know how lucky that can be. And then we come to Wiseman's research, which his first factor of luck is networking. Well, what better place than a Twitter conference to actually talk about networking? So the first proactive step, or the first factor that's always attached to a lucky person or a luckier life, is to have the ability to network. Now, when I say network, yes, I'm talking about attending conferences like this, but some people are really introverts, and they really don't want to get out of their own, what I call the cave. They won't come out of the cave. They won't get out there, out and about in the big wide world with lots of people. So now we have social media that allows us to network in every conceivable level, in every conceivable way. But the first thing that we have to know when we take this action step, when we create the intention of becoming a networker in order to become more lucky, the first thing we need to have is clarity. So that's essential. Having clarity about what your intention is for the networking is essential. So you need to know who and what you're looking for. In fact, when I first got on Twitter, one of the first things that I was advised to do was to find like-minded brands, like-minded companies, and like-minded individuals, and follow them. And what I was told is when you follow them, chances are 70% of them will turn around and follow you as well. And that's a way to disseminate, get your message out, get the information out. So in networking, what you do when you take this proactive step is you then create the possibilities and the opportunities to be in the right place at the right time with the right person who has the right message just for you. And that's pretty lucky. Now, the second part or factor of creating, of palpably, tangibly creating a luckier life is using your intuition. It's listening to your gut instincts. And just as much as we were just talking about how Twitter can help you to connect with a new networking platform, social media can also disconnect you from your gut. Okay? So Andrea Sertash was up here before, and she was talking about relationships and how to view relationships and how to create relationships. And one of the things that she talked about was being authentic. And when she was talking about authenticity, she was saying when you sit down on a first date, You don't need to project out whether you're going to marry this person or not. And you also don't need to be sitting there tweeting on your phone. Both of those things will disconnect you from that voice inside of you that's saying, this is the right person or it's not. And you can know that TikTok inside of 5 minutes. But you have to be connected to that still small voice within you. Being connected to that still small voice within you will also bring you possibilities and opportunities for a luckier life. Disconnect. Disconnect from social media. Disconnect from the cacophony and the noise around you. Your second proactive step, remember the first one is you're going to network. You're going to intentionally network with people of like mind. Your second proactive step is actually to take a break. 5 minutes out of the day. Connect with your own intuition. Create that intention. That's your intention, is to literally use that 5 minutes to connect with your gut, with your instincts, with that still small voice within. Because all of the information that you're gathering while you're networking needs to process. It needs to be assimilated. And then you need to throw out the crap and keep the stuff that's right for you, because that will help you create a luckier life. Now, the third action step that you can take to create a luckier life, and I have to make this really quick, is expectation. People who are lucky expect it. They expect to be lucky. They say, how? How can I get luckier? Not whether or not this will work. How can I get luckier? Well, here's one way how. Today, now, when you leave here, I want you to write down 10 goals that you want to achieve in the next 12 months. 10 goals in 12 months. I want you to read it every day. Only 3% of the people on this planet will ever do that. But those 3% will head up their brands and their businesses. The other 97%, not so lucky. So 3 action steps. Network, listen to your intuition, and expect to be lucky. And I'll guarantee you, you will see immediate results. Before I'm out of this why today, you will have something happen to you that will make you look at your life in a bigger, better perspective, in a luckier way. And I hope that you join me at my new endeavor called The Luck Project, theluckproject.com, where we'll be giving tons more tips, and we have tons more videos of what we call notable names, people who are sharing the lucky breaks that they've had in their lives, from Barbara Corcoran to Ariel Ford, from Mariel Hemingway, and on we go. I'm hoping to get Jeff Pulver, but shh, don't tell him that. I'm hoping to get lucky here while I'm at the Twitter conference. So that's it. You can have a luckier life. It's not that hard. All you have to do is create your intentions, take your action steps. And one last, pay attention now when you leave here today to how many times you hear or you read the word lucky. Put your attention there. It'll come back to feed you. Thanks so much.